Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Plant Growth and Development, and in this video we will cover part 1. So let's begin with the question which was asked in the year 2015. Typical growth curve in plants is dash. So here you're given 4 options here. So here we are talking about a graph method, right? If you look at here, you have linear, parabolic, star, step shaped or sigmoid. The correct answer is sigmoid. So what does a sigmoid growth curve represent? See, it is also called as S-shaped growth curve. So S is actually abbreviated, sigmoid is actually abbreviated as S and also called as S-shaped growth curve, a pattern of growth in which in a new environment the population density of an organism increases slowly initially in a positive acceleration phase, then increases rapidly approaching an exponential growth rate. Sometimes it moves into a J-shaped growth curve, but then it declines in a negative manner. So this is about the sigmoid growth curve. So what does a sigmoid growth curve mean? It is the one which describes as many processes in psychology, then you including the learning and responding to the test items. Sometimes the curve starts low, has a period of acceleration, then approaches an asymptote. Often the curve is characterized by a logistic function. So therefore the correct answer to this question is option D, sigmoid. It's a growth curve which maintains the equilibrium with carrying capacity and it forms a asymptote stage in plants. Therefore the correct answer is option D, and to your below you have a diagram, a picture which represents a sigmoid growth curve. So to one side you have time, to one side you have growth, where they talk about the lag phase. Lag phase is where the growth is very dominant. It doesn't show any acceleration in the growth. When you talk about the exponential phase, it talks about the growth is at the peak. Okay, the growth is well accelerated. Diminishing growth phase is where the growth will slowly start to retard. It will slowly start to drop. And stationary phase is where the growth stops. You don't find any retardation or you don't find any growth. The growth actually stops there. You either have no increase or decrease. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option D. Next question here, coiling of garden pea tendrils around any support is an example of dash. Okay, before we go into the answer, you must have seen certain plants which actually tend to coil around the stem tendrils. Okay, they coil around it. It's basically for support. Okay, when they don't have a proper system to or when they have no capacity or the ability to withstand or stand by itself, they actually depend on someone for support. Mostly these kind of tendrils, they coil around the stem system where they can remain as such. So this is called as thigmotrophism. So option C is the right answer. The coiling of the garden pea tendrils around any support is an example of thigmotrophism. Thigmotrophism is a growth movement in the response to the touch. Okay, it is response to the touch. Always remember that. Okay, and apart from that, the stems and the tendrils of the climbers are positively thigmotrophic in their response. So one thing, as I already mentioned, it is for the support where they cannot withstand or they cannot stand by themselves. They need someone's support. So basically they are termed as climbers. So you must have heard about this, right? Therefore the correct answer to this question is option C, thigmotrophism. Okay, so whenever you get about the coiling of tendrils, always remember the scenario is about thigmotrophism. Next question here. Senescence is as an active developmental cellular process is the growth and functioning of flowering plant is indicated in dash. So here you are given 4 options here. So what do you mean by senescence? What is that actually? It is an active developmental cell process in the growth and functioning of a flowering plant. Okay, it is the changes that occur in the organism. See, we are talking about the changes here. Okay, so what changes? It is the changes that is occurring in an organism between the period of the maturity to death. Okay, so that changes. We all grow, right? Every living organism, as soon as it is born, it starts to grow and of course once there is life there is death as well. So here if you see, it is indicated as the changes that occur in an organism during the period of maturity and death. That is, you call that process as simply aging. We all know that, right? We call that process as aging. Characteristically, there is a deterioration in the functioning of the cells as become. So this is understandable. What is that we all come across through? Now, for example, let's take ourselves. We will find a lot of difference right from the birth till the current age. We must have been so fair and now we have reduced in color. You must have been so active, now you must have been less active. You must have had a long hair, now you have a very short hair. Your hair isn't growing well. So this is all compromised under one thing called aging process. So characteristically, if you find an organism growing, it is very well understood that one point of time everything will stop functioning or it will become less functional. So that is what we are talking here. So here it is indicated by leaf abscission. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B, leaf abscission. So that's what they have maintained here. Characteristically, there is a deterioration in the functioning as the cells become less efficient in maintaining and replacing vital cell components. So this gradual happening will take place in every living organism. See, nobody is going to remain as such. So for example, if you take ourselves, we are not going to remain as how we were when we were born and till the current age. There's a lot of changes that the body will undergo physically and mentally. So here this is indicated with the help of leaf abscission. Option B is the right answer. Next question here. Opening of floral buds into flowers is a type of dash. So this question was asked in the year 2007. So again you're given 4 options here. So what do you mean by opening of floral buds? So what type of it? What type is it? See, opening of floral buds is an autonomic movement of growth. So this is a very easy question for you to answer, because we all know the answer for this. Because as you see a plant, it's a process of growth. There is no there is no force, or there is no any supply, or there is no any external source which is going to push forward the growth, right? It's not, you don't have any external force which is going to push the plant saying that you have to grow at this period, you have to produce flowers at this period. Nothing like that. So flowers, if you see, you don't have a timing when the flower will bloom. If you must have seen opening of the flower buds into flowers, not many of us, even if you take for example the 5 o'clock flower, they say, okay, the 5 o'clock flower, they say, not exactly it is going to get bloomed by 5. And even they say that plants have senses, that they can sense if someone is near to them. Sometimes they don't even bloom at 5, it seems. So they can actually feel your presence when you are near to them. So flower buds, which they turn out to be beautiful flowers, it's an autonomous movement. That is, it is not dependent on any source, and it is not by any external force or something, but it is an autonomic movement of growth. Okay, therefore the correct answer is option C. Next question here. Anthesis is a phenomenon which refers to dash. Again, this is an easy question for you. So what is anthesis? Let's discuss that first. Anthesis is a period during which a flower is fully open and functional. So what does this mean? A flower will be fully opened. That is, the blooming stage is over. You don't have to expect much more blooming from it. So the flower is fully opened, which means it's fully bloomed. Okay, so once it is fully opened, it becomes functional as well. It may also refer to the onset of that period. So here you have 4 options here. So anthesis is a phenomenon which refers to the opening of the flower bud. Okay, what does it refer to? It refers to the opening of the flower bud. So because I gave you a clue here, what is anthesis? It is a period of the flower which fully opens, and thereby its function also, it also becomes functional there. So this will refer to the onset of that period. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option D. And to your right side, you can see a clear image of wheat head where anthesis take place. You notice the anthers will stick out. So that is the onset of that period, right? Next question here. Movement of leaves, okay? Movement of leaves of sensitive plant Mimosa judica are due to dash. So Mimosa judica means, it is a scientific name. I mean, it is here if you see, it's a scientific name that they are given here. The common name you all know, it is touch me not. We all like to play with that plant, right? So the name is Mimosa judica, which means touch me not, where the leaves show sensitivity. Once you touch the leaves closes, and once you leave it undisturbed for some time, again the leaves will start to spread. You must have seen it, and sometimes you even play with it, right? So this is because of the sensitivity that the plant exhibits. When someone comes in touch with it, the immediate response is to close its senses. So here if you see, the movement is because of the turgor changes due to the ejection of water by the cells of pulvins, okay, that is swollen leaf base on touching it. It causes folding and drooping of leaves, and this is because of the, as I already said, it is because of the senses. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option B, okay, Is monasti. S is silent, so you can call it as Is monasti. Okay, so that is called as Is monasti, which is option B. So this is a repetitive question which was asked again in 1988 and again repeated in 1999. So kindly remember, when they ask you questions like this, you should know the common name and the scientific name so that you don't have to get confused, because Mimosa judica is a scientific name of the common name called as touch me not, right? Next question here. If a tree, okay, if a tree flowers thrice a year, so read the question clear here. If a tree flowers thrice in a year, October, Jan and July in northern India, it is said to be dash. So what is the period of October, Jan and July? What is that you can expect there? So when we talk about July, we know there is sun, so means it is composed of photo, which is dependent upon light. Now when you talk about October and January, usually when you come to an Indian climate during October and January, you will not have much of temperature and not much of photo system also. So the scenario is very understandable, where they have given you the months as well, so it is easy for you to judge the answer. The correct answer is option D. It is photo and thermos insensitive. Okay, so October and Jan, as I said, the temperature will not be that high, right? So it is thermo insensitive. It is not dependent on temperature, but it is dependent on light. Okay, therefore the correct answer to this question is option D. In northern India, during these months, maximum variation in light intensity. So that's what I explained now, right? You will have the maximum variation in light intensity and temperature is observed. Hence, only plants who can withstand or that are photo and thermo insensitive can flower in these 3 months. Because here, if you see, it's not a continuous period of flowering. After October, it is seen only in Jan. After Jan, it is seen only in July. So you can have, so it means it has a lot of gaps. But in spite of that, it is able to flower. It is because it is photo and thermo insensitive. It depends on light, but it is not fully dependent on light. Again, it is dependent on temperature and not fully dependent upon the temperature. It can withstand and grow. Therefore, the correct answer is option D. Next question here. Thigmotrophic plant is best known for dash. So this, just now we discussed about thigmotrophism. What did we see? When we talk about thigmotrophism, it is the tendril. We have to talk in basis of tendril, where we spoke that certain tendrils, they seem to coil around the stems in order for support. Especially we took examples of climbers here. We saw it in the earlier question, right? So here again the answer is very easy for you. The correct answer is movement in tendril. The phenomena of thigmotrophism is a response to the contact with a solid object. It is exhibited by tendrils of climbing plants that grow around a pole or the stem of another plant. So it is not independent, because it don't have the ability to stand, where it don't have an erect position. It is dependent on another plant for the source of support. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option A. And now to your right side you can see a picture of how the tendril coils around the stem, which is stable there. Can you see that? So this part I'm talking about, right? So this is for support. Okay, next question here. Clinostat is employed in the study of dash. So what is this clinostat? You can either mention or pronounce it as clinostat or linosat, whatever. It is an apparatus that is used to nullify the effect of geotrophism. So what does it do? It nullifies the effect of geotrophism. Okay. It has a clock on the main axis which is attached to the rod. The top of the rod is attached to the flower pot. The clinostat is kept horizontal position and allowed to rotate, and the plant growth is absorbed. Okay. So what do you see from this clinostat? You see the growth. So obviously the correct answer is option B, where we talk about growth movements. Okay, easy question. Whenever you get questions like this, understand the question. Clinostat is one instrument that is used to measure the growth of a plant. Okay, it also nullifies the effect of geotrophism. Okay, next question here. Phytohormones are dash. Again, this is an easy question which was asked in the year 1990. So what do you mean by phytohormones? What does a hormone do basically? Forget about phytohormones. Now tell me about hormones. What do they do actually? What is the function? Let's take ourselves as an example. We have a lot of hormones which a body will produce in order for a proper functioning of the system. We have thyroid stimulating hormone, for example, which regulates the thyroid production in the body. We have insulin, which takes care of the glucose and the sugar levels of the body. So every hormone produced in a body has a function to perform, and it also sees that the function is correctly performed. Sometimes when there is an imbalance in the levels that is produced, sometimes it leads to hyper or hypofunction of the hormone. So that is what we term it as hypersensitivity, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism. When the levels are produced in high quantity, you term it simply as hyper. When the levels are actually below the normal level, then you call that scenario as hypo. So this is a very common thing about hormones that we know in general. So what do a phytohormone do now? They are regulators that they are synthesized by the plants, and they influence the physiological processes as what we observe from our body. See, we have growth hormones which regulate the growth of our body. If it is not produced correctly, or if there is an imbalance in the production, once again you show retarded growth, or you will show a hyper growth. So likewise, phytohormones are it means it is attached to plants. It is in reference to the plants. They regulate the plants and also see to the physiological processes. Therefore the correct answer is option D. So usually the growth the hormones that you see are auxins, gibberellins. All these are examples of hormones. Okay, fine. Next question here. Leaves of many grasses are capable. Okay, leaves of many grasses are capable of folding and unfolding because they are dash. So again, you are given 4 options here. They are very thin or isobilateral, have specialized bulliform cells, or have parallel vascular bundles. So obviously it is not because they are very thin, because we all tend to take that because we know how a grass leaf is. You must have seen it's so thin, but the folding, and so if it is too thin, it cannot unfold back, right? Once it is broken or once it is folded, you cannot get that form back. So it is not the answer from option A. Isobilateral again is not the answer. Now look about the third option, having specialized bulliform. What do you mean by bulliform? They're also called as what? Motor cells. Okay. Monocot leaves have some specialized cells in their epidermal cells of their leaves, which are called as bulliform cells, and they're also called as mortar cells, which lose or gain turgidity, due to which their leaves show coiling and uncoiling. So now you understand what the answer is. So bulliform cells are found in certain monocots where they're capable of coiling and uncoiling. Therefore, the correct answer is option C. Next question here. Fruit and leaf drop. Okay, fruit and leaf drop at early ages can be prevented by the application of dash. So this is a very easy question for you to answer. So what do you mean by fruit and leaf drop? It talks about the premature leaf drop or the premature fruit fall. So you must have seen or you must have noticed certain trees, certain plants, before they produce any fruits or produce any proper flowers or something of that sort, they seem to fall off. You must have noticed in many trees, when the flowers, once there is a lot of flowers, we expect a lot of fruits from it. But what happens is, as the days go by, the flowers fall off. Then what is the use? Where will you get the fruits now? So to prevent this premature thing happening, you can inculcate auxins to it. Auxins help to prevent the premature leaf and fruit fall. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. So other than that, you also have some important functions of auxins here. It plays an important role in the number of plant activities, including cell division, elongation. It promotes flowering, trophism, where we talk about phototrophism, gravitotrophism. It helps in fruit development, apical dominance, fruit initiation and development, and also prevents abscission of fruits and leaves. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option B. Next question here. The avena or the vena curvature, okay, A silent here, you can pronounce it as vena curvature, is used for the bioassay of dash. So you're given 4 options here. So what do you mean by ABA or IAA? So what is IAA? You're given 4 options here, right? So you're given 4 options here: ABA, GA3, ethylene, IAA. IAA stands for indole acetic acid. Okay, it is the principal auxin that is present in plants. So what is IAA? It is indole acetic acid. Okay, and it is the principal auxin in plants. This hormone is produced in the cells in the apex and the young leaves of the plant. It plays a key role in the root formation and bud growth. So the correct answer to this question is IAA, which is indole acetic acid. Now you can tell me what is the full form of ABA. So what is that actually? So when you talk about, see, ABA, there are a lot of abbreviations given for it. But when we talk in terms of biology, we will tell it as what? Abscisic acid, right? It is called as abscisic acid. Okay, so you don't have to worry. It's a plant hormone again. But when you talk about vena curvature, which is used for the bioassay, it is IAA. Auxin has been clearly demonstrated when it comes to leaf sheath, and especially when we talk about vena curvature, we talk about the auxins. Auxins are given more importance there. This plant, Coleoptile, has been used for the test hormone auxin, which is IAA. So here you have been given the clear explanation of it. See, auxin has been clearly demonstrated in the leaf sheath or the, what is it, oleoptile of an oat plant. So oat plant. So Vena sativa is a scientific name of the oat plant. So when we talk about the vena curvature, we are resembling the oat plant here. So majority or predominantly we consider IAA, which is indole acetic acid, which is a test hormone, and we already know it is again an auxin. Okay, what does an auxin do? It helps in the growth, and you have many other functions also related to it. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option C, IAA, which means indole acetic acid. Okay, next question here. What causes a green plant exposed to the light on one side to bend towards the source of the light as it grows? So it's very easy question for you to answer. So first option, green plants seek light because they are phototrophic. Okay, light stimulates plant cells on the lighted side to grow faster. Auxin accumulates on the shaded side, stimulating greater cell elongation there. Green plants need light to perform photosynthesis. So here if you see, auxin stimulates cell elongation. Okay, we need growth factors to help in cell elongation, right? So that is very important. So it accumulates on the shaded side, which results more elongation of cell towards the shaded side of the plant. This causes the bending of the plant towards the source of light. So the correct answer is option C. Okay, very easy question. See, when there is more accumulation to one side, what happens automatically? When it cannot bear the weight, it will awkwardly droop down. So this causes a bending of the plant towards the source of the light. Therefore the correct answer is option C. Next question here. Auxin can be bioassayed by dash. So just now we saw that, right, in the earlier question where we saw a vena curvature. It's related or in reference to an oat plant, which is actually called as leoptile. So here we know the answer is, it is option D. And when we talk about the auxin, we always take in reference a particular auxin, which is indole acetic acid. So this is used for the bioassay of auxin. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option D. So here you have actually a curvature test. Cut off the tips of vena leoptile and place it on the agar block. Auxin diffuses into the agar block. Place the agar block in asymmetrically on cut. So you cut it on that and you place a stump. It shows the typical curvature there. So that is the result here. So here you can see in the final, you can see a typical curvature. So this is one bioassay for auxins. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option D. So with this we complete the part 1 of plant growth and development chapter. Hope to meet you in the next part of the same chapter. Thank you.